It was supposed to be a day of comfort and joy, the return of a cherished community event after a long pandemic break. But within seconds, the Waukesha Christmas parade will become a scene of chaos and tragedy, one of the deadliest acts of vehicular violence in American history. And the man behind the wheel, Darrell Brooks Jr., would later face the world, not with remorse, but with defiance. Waukesha, a quiet suburb west of Milwaukee, held its 58th annual Christmas parade on that Sunday afternoon. With the theme Comfort and Joy, the event drew hundreds of residents. More than 60 parade groups, from school bands to community dance troupes, marched proudly down Main Street. For many, it was the first sign that normalcy was returning after the long shadow of COVID-19. But at 4:30 p.m., that peace shattered.
But just a warning to our viewers that this can be very disturbing to watch. A Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin turned deadly after an SUV plowed into the crowd Sunday afternoon.
There's a car going westbound pushing the parade goes on. I ran it. I escaped.
Watch from another angle as the red vehicle speeds down the street, barely missing a child wearing a pink coat.
A red Ford Escape driven by 39-year-old Darrell Brooks burst through the barricades at nearly 40 miles per hour. Witnesses recall the driver's face, calm, expressionless, as he weaved through the crowd in a deliberate zigzag pattern. Police officers shouted, banged on their vehicle, even fired shots, but nothing stopped them. The SUV plowed through marchers, children, and spectators, leaving devastation in its path. Among the victims were 4 beloved members of the Milwaukee Dancing Grannies, vibrant women who brought joy to generations of the Wisconsinites. The youngest victim, 8-year-old Jackson Sparks, died 2 days later from his injuries. Darrell Edward Brooks Jr. was no stranger to the criminal justice system. His record stretched back over 2 decades. Battery, sex crimes, domestic abuse, reckless endangerment. In Nevada, he was convicted for impregnating a 15-year-old girl. In Wisconsin, he once fired a gun at his own nephew. And just 2 days before the parade, he had posted bail, a mere $1,000, after running over his ex-girlfriend with the same SUV used in the attack. That decision, a single line of bail paperwork, would ignite national outrage and spark a debate over a bail reform in America. Hours after the attack, Brooks was found wandering a nearby neighborhood, shivering in the cold. He knocked on a stranger's door, claiming to be homeless and waiting for an Uber. The man offered him a sandwich and a jacket. Unaware, the man he was helping had just unleashed horror downtown. Minutes later, police swarmed the area. Brooks surrendered without a fight. In October 2022, Brooks' trial began and quickly devolved into chaos. Choosing to represent himself, Brooks rejected his own name, claiming the court had no authority over him, a hallmark of the sovereign citizen movement. He argued over every detail, interrupted the judge, and was repeatedly removed from the courtroom. At times, his defiance seemed theatrical, part desperation, part delusional. Judge Jennifer Darrell maintained composure through weeks of disruptions. Despite Brooks' bizarre tactics, the evidence was overwhelming. Video footage, eyewitnesses, and the SUV itself. After just over 3 hours of deliberation, the jury returned guilty verdicts on all 76 charges, including 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. On November 16, 2022, Judge Darrell handed down one of the harshest sentences in Wisconsin history: 6 consecutive life sentences without parole, plus an additional 762 years. The courtroom erupted in applause. For many, justice was finally served, but healing had only begun. Even in prison, Brooks continued to file appeals, clinging to claims of injustice and sovereign rights. But in Waukesha, a different message echoed: Waukesha strong, a reminder that even in darkness, a community's light can endure. 6 lives stolen, 62 forever changed. An act of evil that shattered a community, yet revealed its resilience. As the lights return each Christmas, Waukesha remembers, not the man behind the wheel, but the faces, the families, and the strength that followed.